All right, this is show number 67, January 8th, 2013, our first show of 2013. Coming back from a 2-week break. Had a great Christmas and great New Year's. Tim, Kathleen, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tonight we have our guest is Kat Braman. Did I say
Hi
that
there.
right?
You did.
All right. And we'll be getting to her in just a second. Before we do, and I don't know what point we're going to do this, maybe early on, but we have the December contest, which was our first month doing it where it was the entire month, the whole year. You can submit any photo, your best photo for the whole year. No special, theme, just whatever you wanted to submit, your best photo. And we had something special where not only did the winner win, but the 2 runners-up win something too. And we had more, we can't do this every month, obviously, but we had more gifts to give away this month.
Yeah, this is a good month to win.
This is a good month to win. Yes. And thank you to Stacy Jensen for giving the credits every month. She did give a little bit more this month and gave something to the runners-up. And thanks for Clickin' Moms, who gave us a subscription to their magazine for all 3 people. And for the winner, she gave us a 1-year subscription to the site, which is good too. The winner also wins a signed copy of the Michael Clark book, and I'll be sending these off this weekend to get him sign them. They win the mention on the site. They win. They're going to be on the show notes. They're going to be on the Facebook page. All 3 of them will be on the Facebook page, and the page, and then in a group that'll be the group photo for the month.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of stuff for this time.
Yes.
You want me to show you those photos right now?
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
So let's go and look at. So we had. Hold on. Let me make sure they can still hear us after I do this. We had. This was one of the, and these are in no particular order. We had. I don't know what you call this one. What the name of this one? But I think it's obviously St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this one was.
That reflection in the puddle is pretty cool.
Yeah, this was, and we had a lot of great ones submitted. I wish we could show all of them. This one by Marge Layton. Hope I got that right. Then we had this one, which is by Kaylee Elizabeth Reisling. Hopefully I got that right.
Such great emotion caught in that picture.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is not only technical, some shots are technical good, some shots are emotional good, some shots are both. We had a wide variety this month.
If I tried to jump like that, I'd probably hurt myself.
I know, right? I don't think I can get up that high.
Yeah, he's definitely jumping better than I could.
Yeah.
And then we had this one submitted by Seth White, who's been on the show before. I don't know if this is his son or not. I don't remember if it was his son or not. But yep, that one. So all 3 of those were the finalists. So all 3 of them win the $25 gift certificate from Stacy Jensen, the 1-year membership to Clickin' Moms. They'll be on the Facebook page, and they'll be in the show notes. And we thank everybody for entering. There's a lot of them there. You know what generally happens is my absolute favorite generally doesn't make it to the finals. Mm-hmm. And the way this works for everybody. Sometimes it does make it to the finals, but not every time. The way this works is the top 3 votes with using likes make it to the finalists. And then the 4 admins, which is Gina Perry, Kathleen Bowie, Tim Kimberly, and myself, vote on which one we pick as the winner. And that one then becomes the winner, and you're not bound by what the most likes were. Sometimes it works out that way, sometimes it does not. And while I think it's a good story, I think it's good news that we don't always agree.
It is, because it kind of gives us some. I mean, it shows that art is different to whoever's looking at it. You know what I mean? Especially even when all of the people involved are photographers.
Yes.
It's just going to be different. It depends on what resonates with you. And I think it's great that the amount of likes gets you into the finals, but it doesn't necessarily win it for you. Yeah,
and I think that I know photography. Oh, did we lose?
We've got 2 cats.
Did we lose your cat and then you came back? We can't hear her right now.
We can't hear you.
But I think it's also good that, what I was going to say is photography is an art, not necessarily a science. There's science to it, But what makes a good photo is generally the art side, and that's subjective. Different people are going to like different things,
right?
Which is good. Otherwise all our photos will look exactly the same. So, do you want me to? Should I get it out of the way now? Should I? And I'm just going through the photos here. I'm not showing a winner yet. One of these three are winners. Let me hold it off to the end or do it now?
I don't know. That's such pressure. Kat gets to decide. Kat, can we hear you right now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you think we should announce who our top winner is now, or do you think we should wait till the end of the show?
I'm hearing you twice, but I think you should do it now. Don't.
Let me ask
and we're hearing you twice as well.
Wait a minute. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Everybody out there saying now.
Now, do it, do it, do it.
Now, for sure. I wouldn't want to wait.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, go for it. Hold on, we need a drum roll.
Hold on, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to. Oh crap! Hold on. All right. Get rid of that. Let me go to this shot, and then I'm going to get the shot ready that is the winner.
Okay.
So, you do the drum roll.
It's coming. Oh, no,
That's
wrong
not
one.
the drum roll.
And the winner
winner is, what's her name? Kaylee Elizabeth Riesling.
Yay!
Congratulations, Kaylee. Hopefully you're pronouncing your name wrong. This time she did actually get the most votes. That's not why we picked it, but she did get the most votes. There was a lot of good photos, as we mentioned. All three people will win something. But Kaylee, congratulations. I need to eventually get your address. I'll be sending you guys out a message. I'll need to get some other information from you guys to get you these things and to get you a few other things. But congratulations, thank you for entering. And if you didn't win, we'll keep doing these every month. Can't give away the same amount of stuff every month. Tim, you got to get me a UPS deal, dude.
Yeah, I got to get myself one.
I shipped out to our last month's winner the Expo disc, and it was $20-something to ship that to him. That little bitty box.
You didn't ship it at next day, did you?
No, I shipped it like 20-day ground or whatever the thing is.
Wow.
Can't hear you, Kathleen. Kathleen? You must be muted.
Maybe we muted her.
Anyway.
Can you?
Yeah, we heard you there.
We heard you, didn't cut off. So congratulations, Kaylee. Thank you for entering, and I guess that's it. Thank you for entering. All right, so as Kathleen tries to get her mic, are you working now, Kathleen? She is not. I guess if that doesn't work, Kathleen, you can always go back to using your your camera mic, if you can't get the other one working.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Headphones.
Wow.
Left the hair.
Who got you those cheap headphones?
Seriously.
They weren't that cheap.
I was actually looking at a Blue Yeti now. So
a lot of people are saying in the chat that this was their favorite image of the three and that they're glad that it won. And then they're also saying, but what about this image and what about that image? And I have to sound like an idol. If you guys want it up there, you got to go and vote on it. So
Absolutely.
If you're not participating, you're not allowed to complain about it.
And I would tell you that I try and wait to the very end to vote for me, because I doubt I'm going to influence anybody, but I don't want to show any favoritism to the very end. I do try and push the votes, multiple times to get people to vote, because that's the only way. And you really should go through every one of them.
Yeah.
And you can vote for more than one. You can vote for more than one, but go through every one of them, because you never know. The Wonder Woman that Jeff was talking about is a great photo. There's a number of them out there that were great photos. I can't remember which one. I generally vote for more than one, and it's hard for me to not vote for almost all of them.
Kind of defeats the purpose, Mike.
It does. If we all vote for all of them, then they all have the same vote.
Jenny Kessler says that she voted for all of them because they were so good. So you might as well not vote, Jenny.
Well, you do what you do, but I like Jeff's photo, and I can't remember everybody else's photo, but there's a number of them out there I like, and a lot of times the one I like maybe only got 3 votes.
Yeah,
It's like it's just not going to get there. So for whatever reason, that goes back to the thing that photography is subjective. Somebody had a photo of a cat. I thought it was a great photo of a cat. I like that one. I think there was one of a dog. I like that one. I'm partial to animals, but you never know what somebody else is.
I don't know if this counts or not, but for those of you out there, if I submit, if Tim submits, or if Mike submits, none of us are really in the running. None of us can win.
Yeah.
So not to say you can't like their photo, but don't only like Mike's photo because he's not going to win. So give your like to someone who can actually win.
Hey, that's not been a problem because I've never got close to.
I saw that one coming.
But I would tell you that generally the only reason I'm adding one is to participate, not because I'm obviously going to win, but because I use that as the placeholder to create the album.
Yeah.
And also to enter one. Kathleen, you had one that actually was tied for 3rd place in number of votes, and I just eliminated you.
Oh, thanks. Exactly.
Where's the bomb effect?
But Kathleen does take some great photos. We have some pros that had submitted a couple things. You have Mike Coletta and Scott Green who submitted a few things, and they didn't get as many votes. You just never know. That's the thing. Come around next month and try it again. Now, I think what we're going to have to do for January is there's 2 people, the November and October people, their topic. We got to cover those in January. So we're probably going to have a double thing for January. And I also would like to do a competition on retouching, not just photography, but pick a photo and have a retouch photo competition or editing competition.
We have to show it like before and after?
You have to show before. Well, we would have the before. It would be the same photo. Everybody would be working off the same photo.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And then, you can do whatever you want to it that's not vulgar. And then we'd vote on it doing that way too. So that's a thought on something to do.
I like that. That's good.
And also, if you enter, you have to tell us what you did.
Okay.
Something like so to help each other.
Well, how about if you enter, you tell us what you did if you win?
Well, but no, the winner isn't always the one you're.
What if you put out there what you did, and then everyone just does the same thing because they're reading what you did?
All right, so we have a few things to work through on this.
Yes, there's. Guess who's gonna win?
Yeah. Oh, well, I know you're really good at it. All right, so enough intro. Let's get right to Kat. Kat, welcome. Thank you for coming on. And why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into, or tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm Kat Braman, and I'm based in Jupiter, Florida, which is just north of Palm Beach. I grew up in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I spent the first part of my life ski racing professionally. I got into photography because my husband and I went on a really cool trip to Alaska, and I decided I needed a good camera. So I bought the original Rebel and a really sweet zoom lens. I don't even remember what it is, but I'm sure the lowest aperture was like 5.6.
Right.
And I took it on this trip, took a bunch of photos, photoshopped the crap out of them, and thought I was awesome. I look back on them now, of course, and cringe. But shortly thereafter, I had my first son. So I spent the first 3 years of my life, of his life, taking a photo of him every single day. So I did 3 years worth of 365 photos of him. Poor baby number 2 has gotten like 2 photos in his first 2 years. But that's basically how I taught myself photography, was doing all of these photo shoots with my son.
Right. Very cool.
Very cool.
But now you're like more weddings. So when did the switch happen for you?
Well, I started, friends, like anyone else that starts that way, friends and family started seeing the pictures and started asking me to take pictures for them. And so I put up a blog, I started blogging, and then people started hiring me for family and kid photos, and not too long before I started getting a couple of wedding inquiries. And so I shot, I think it was 2 weddings in 2009. Those were my first two. And then I did, I think, 14 or 15 in 2010 while I still had a full-time job and had a baby. That was that was kind of a crazy year. Mm-hmm. Last year I did 30 weddings, or 2011 I did about 30 weddings, and now I'm going to be around 20, 25-ish is kind of where I found my comfort zone to balance, family and work and all that good stuff.
That's awesome. So you have two babies, boys, girls?
Both boys, 6 and 2.
Awesome. That's your greatest achievement, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And then in 2011, I attended the Film Is Not Dead workshop with Jonathan Canlis. Mm-hmm. I attended it because I didn't feel like I was a real photographer unless I could shoot film. As dumb as that sounds, I know, but that was, and the other reason I wanted to attend it is I had been obsessed for some time with a particular photographer's work who shot square. So I had wanted to learn how to shoot on the Hasselblad because I had just been obsessed with that camera forever. So I bought the Hasselblad, attended Find, had no intention of incorporating it into my wedding work, and got addicted, fell in love with it, and started shooting everything on film, and slowly, obviously, because it's definitely a learning curve.
Right.
And now I primarily shoot most of my client work on film.
So let me ask you, when I pulled the photo, we're watching some of the photos play here in chat as we're going through. As I pulled these photos, I noticed they were all square.
Yeah.
The dimensions were exact. Is that because most of these are film?
All the square ones are film, and they're all shot on the Hasselblad 500 cm. Yep.
Okay.
So it's a 6x6 medium format camera.
Wow, so cool. I think I'd feel more artsy if I was shooting on that too.
It's all about the necklace, Kathleen.
I'm telling you. That is so cool. Okay, so here we go. Do you think you prefer to follow the rules of photography, or do you prefer to break them?
Probably both. I definitely think it's important to know them, and that if you are going to break them, you need to have a really good reason for why you are breaking them. I'm a big fan of shooting with purpose and shooting with intention, and not just shooting 5,000 versions of the same photo and then picking the best one afterwards on the computer.
Right.
So I hope that answers your question.
Film, you don't have that.
No, film kind of forces that on you, otherwise you go broke.
Right. Now on the Hasselblad, do you have the ability with that camera to check your histogram?
Oh no, absolutely not. It's a completely manual camera. There is no batteries, no electricity. It's completely mechanical. So yeah, there's no meter. It's just the lens and the viewfinder, basically.
So do you meter your shots, or
I do. I use an external meter.
Okay, cool.
Do you develop your own film?
I do not.
Okay.
I work with a lab, Richard Photo Lab, out in LA, that I send all my film to.
Okay.
And I think this goes back to Kathleen's question. Somebody in chat asked, do you ever give a client a technically non-perfect image because it had good emotion in it?
Oh, all the time. All the time. I think technically perfect photos tend to be kind of boring, to be honest with you. Yeah, all the time. Emotion always trumps
Absolutely.
A technically perfect photo.
So before your sessions, do you still get scared or nervous before walking into a session?
Of course, every time, before every wedding. But once I start shooting, I'm not nervous anymore.
You get in your groove. What do you do to prepare yourself for a photo shoot?
Just check all my gear, make sure I have everything that I need, and that's basically it. Throw some makeup on, and yeah, that's about it. It's nothing too intricate.
Yeah. So would you consider yourself more of a methodical photographer or more of a spontaneous photographer?
Um, Probably some combination of both. I think shooting weddings, you kind of have to be able to do both because, when I'm shooting portraits or details, then I'm far more methodical. But when I'm shooting the documentary part of the day, I'm just observing and, kind of shooting as I see things developing in front of me.
I'm looking at your images, and my guess is that if you were to look at a histogram with these images, that you would be pushing far to the right without clipping your highlights, unless it's highlights that you don't care about, like the sky or something like that. Do you tend to like that overexposed feeling, airy feel to your images is kind of the consistent feel that I'm seeing here? I love it. How did you find your style in this?
Shooting a lot and just making a lot of mistakes. But yeah, and especially with color film, it tends to hold highlights much better than detail in the shadows.
Okay.
So yeah, typically the way I shoot color is I usually rate the film at half box speed, which means like if it's a 400 speed film, when I take a meter reading, I'll put 200 as if it's a 200 speed film on the meter. So that's automatically overexposing it by one stop.
Okay.
And then I take the meter reading in the shadows because film is a little bit different than digital. Digital, you're always worried about blowing the highlights. It's pretty hard to blow the highlights with color film. So if you're going to err on the side, make an error, you definitely want to make it on the side of overexposure.
Well, that's interesting. You said you meter for the shadows, and when I meter, I'm metering for skin tone.
Yeah, no, I'm metering for the shadows, and then the lab knows how to develop the photos and scan them in for the skin tones. Yep.
Very cool. Interesting.
I just want to mention as we're watching the photos here, the stream is never going to show the true quality of the photos because we have to reduce it, the quality of the photos in order to stream them. So be sure to go to Kat's site to see the full quality of the images. Hey, Kat, I have a question for you. So, you mentioned earlier that obviously emotion trumps technical, right? Do you ever have an issue where the client it says, looks at the photo and doesn't see the same thing you do? Maybe they're upset that I don't like that photo, and they don't see the same emotion maybe that you're seeing?
I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it's happened to every photographer. Sure. I have not had a specific issue with a client about it. I honestly think that photographers pay way more attention to the technical stuff than your typical client who's not super photography savvy. They're looking for photos of their friends and their family enjoying their wedding day.
Absolutely. I agree. They're looking at, the special person, like maybe the grandma or the father, or, getting one of those shots.
Yeah, and looking good, obviously. I mean, you spend a lot of money on the dress and the tux and all the hair and makeup and everything, so making them look good is also important.
Right. So you say that when you began your photography journey that you made a lot of mistakes, right? So what would you say is one of the mistakes that was most useful to you down the road? One of the mistakes that you learned a lot from?
I would say the biggest one is blogging too many images. I still think I blog too many images now. I think you are only as strong as your weakest image, and so I think editing your work, I don't mean editing like in Lightroom or Photoshop, but editing to choose which images you show on your website, on your portfolio site, or on your blog is a huge skill that I'm still learning, and up until not that long ago, like 2011, I was blogging way too many images, and I was bringing down the quality of my work, and people were losing interest. There's only so many images from one wedding that someone's going to want to look at that doesn't know the person. So I think one of my biggest goals for 2012 was to be a much, much tighter editor of my own work.
Yeah, that's a really good goal because I always find that when I'm like processing images for someone's gallery for them to pick from, there's always that one image that I've kept in because I'm just like, well, the kid's smiling and mom's gonna like it, but it's not my favorite. And then without fail, that's the one that they plaster all over the place and they want blown up big for their house. And then I walk away as an artist kind of like, oh, why did I even leave it in? I should have known. You know what I mean? Because from an artist standpoint, there were 10 other images that blew that one out of the water. And so it's a really good thing to learn just to say, let's just keep it simple. Let's just put out the best work and scale back. So I'm guessing, I know the answer to your question for this one, but do you feel like you're driven more by the money of the business or the creativity of the business for you?
Oh, 100% the creativity. If it was all about the money, I probably wouldn't be shooting film. No, I'm joking. There's definitely plenty of amazing photographers who shoot film and are doing great at business, but film does add a lot more extra cost to your bottom line. It's far more expensive to shoot film than it is to shoot digital.
Yeah.
It could, on that subject, could you share with us what it costs generally to shoot a wedding with film?
Well, it cost me an average. I figured this out for my budget for this year. About $1.50 per frame that I take.
Wow.
So yeah, it's fairly, and that includes the cost of buying the film, shipping it, having it developed, having it scanned in, and then I also get proofs with every single roll. So I get 5x5, like kind of what you see right behind me.
Yeah.
And I get those with every single wedding and every single session, and then I select 50 to 100 of my favorites from a wedding, much less from a session, that I send to a client as kind of a surprise gift after the fact.
Okay.
So do you do additional editing to your images after they've been scanned in digitally, or are they exactly how they come out of the camera?
Sometimes they're exactly how they come out. Well, it's not how they come out of the camera, because when the lab scans the images in, when they develop them, they're doing the editing for me.
Okay.
And sometimes some of the images need some additional tweaking, or sometimes my left leg is longer than my other, so my horizon line isn't quite straight. So I have to crop them a little bit, but it is a lot less time in front of the computer. I probably spend an hour total on editing a wedding, like actually not the culling of the images, not the picking of the ones I'm going to deliver to the client, but the actual editing, cropping, whatever. I spend probably about an hour per wedding if I shoot all film. So
how many shots do you take at a wedding?
What's that?
How many shots do you take at a wedding?
It varies quite a bit by the number of hours that the wedding lasts. But I typically shoot probably between 35 and 40 rolls of film. And that's a combination of 120 and 35 millimeter. So probably usually about 1,500 to 2,000 images, including some digital ones. I do shoot, most weddings I do shoot some digital, like the general dancing after the speeches and like the father-daughters, and the bride and groom first dance are done, and it's just like the general dance floor. I'll shoot those on digital.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're, I don't remember the number you said earlier, but you're in a good $1,500 plus in just film.
It's about an average of $1,000 per wedding. Yeah.
Just in your cost.
In my cost, yeah.
You said that was film, 35 millimeter, and digital and medium. Film, digital, and medium format. You said. So you bring 3 cameras with you?
I usually bring 6, but yeah.
Okay.
3 different formats, I guess.
Now, in Kat does something different. I say different, but maybe a lot of people do this too. And we're talking in the pre-show, and you travel a lot to do weddings. Not just, I think you're West Palm Beach, right?
Yeah.
But you travel. You've come up to Atlanta. You've done a wedding, or at least one wedding up here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You have gone Chicago and I believe Boston and a number of other places you've gone. And a lot of times when you go there, you sometimes will bring an assistant with you. Sometimes you hire a local assistant.
Usually I'll hire a local assistant. I'm pretty friendly with a lot of photographers all over the place. So it's generally not, it's usually a lot easier just to hire a local assistant.
Okay.
She,
And go ahead,
we
Catherine.
had Laura Leslie as a guest a few months back, and she recently photographed Laura Leslie's wedding.
I did, yes. In New Zealand.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's not on my blog yet because it's going to be published very soon in a New Zealand magazine. So I'm waiting until that happens before I blog it.
I've seen a few of them in the reel, though, as you've been passing by.
Yeah, there was a few in my my favorites of 2012, which is what you guys picked the images from.
Yeah.
I would love to go to New Zealand. Yeah, I couldn't remember how we made contact with you, whether it was from Laura Leslie or she's actually a good friend of Ryan Brynheiser too.
Right. Yep. Ryan and I are friends as well.
That's too funny. Okay. Yeah, it was actually originally through Laura.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So don't give Ryan any thanks.
I'm not. You know, he did his bit on the show, and then he didn't give us any other people to contact. Laura's turned us on the cat, so we got to give her a thanks.
That's right.
Well, Ryan shoots like 90 weddings a week, so he's a little busy.
He's a little sidetracked.
Yeah. So what do you feel like the word success means to you for your photography business?
Getting clients that connect with my images and the kind of work that I want to put out there, and that are happy and excited and are willing to pay the price that I charge.
Yeah.
I think that's what it boils down to, and growing, getting better every single year.
One of the things I struggled when I first started taking SLR shots, digital SLRs, and selling the sports was that they take it in an 8x12 format, and nobody knows what 8x12. It's 8x10, and you got to worry about cropping. Do you have any issues with the square format?
I don't, and I mean, clients definitely crop them when they print their own images, and that's part of the reason why I actually send the proofs, because I want to see that. I want them to see what a high quality print looks like, and I also think that you can see. To me, you can definitely tell the difference between a film image and a digital image on screen, but the difference is even bigger in print. So that's why I include those prints. But yeah, clients crop my images, and there's nothing I can do about that. And they did that before I shot square. And so I try not to worry about things I don't have any control over. But I do offer some beautiful 5x5 or 6x6 type prints on my proofing site. And when I meet with clients, I educate them about printing the film images and printing the square photos. And, hopefully if I'm booking the kind of clients that are trusting me, they're going to, take my advice and, listen to what I have to say about how to best display and print their images.
Right. If they're going to spend money on their wedding memories, they need to go all the way, So what do you feel like it is that attracts your clients to hiring you?
I think it's both gosh, that's a hard question. You're really putting me on the spot.
Good one, Kathleen.
Yes, a new year. Good question.
Good job, Kathleen.
Well, hopefully, I'm having
now make her cry.
I'm having a hard time answering it without sounding egotistical, I guess.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, I really tried to capture real moments and have a balance of those real moments and real emotion with beautiful portraits. But even with the portraits, I want those portraits to. I'm not a big fan of overly posed portraits. I want them to be, authentic interactions between the couple. Because when they look back at these photos 20 years from now, the photos are what their memories are going to be. When they think about their wedding, the way their memory is going to look like my photos. So I want to capture the types of images that 20 years from now are going to be meaningful to them. And hopefully, by showing those images on my site, that's what's attracting people to hire me.
Mm-hmm. I would go ahead for me and say that if I were hiring you, I would also probably be attracted to the fact that you are well educated in your field, and so I can be confident that you're not going to steer me wrong because you know what you're doing, and I like the way that your pictures look. I think it would be a combination of the two, creatively, and this is my wedding, so I don't want someone who kind of knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like you. Really
oh, absolutely. That's huge. That's huge, and that starts right from the first point of contact. Just something as simple as responding to your emails on a timely basis makes a huge difference.
It does, which is why I now have an office assistant who does it for me because I'm terrible at it.
That's very smart.
That's very good for Kathleen to have that.
Oh, yeah.
It's very good for Kathleen to have that.
Yes. Mike always makes fun of me because he'll send us an email and it says, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? And Tim replies and he says, well, I think this, and I think that, and I think this. And then I reply and I say, sounds great. That's it.
Well, gives me no help.
Yeah. That's all you get. So when you're at a session, do you feel like your personality is more like a take charge photographer, or are you more laid back and kind of just go with the flow?
I'm pretty sure that anyone that knows me would not say I'm laid back. And yeah, I definitely take charge because clients are looking for that. That's why they're hiring a professional photographer. Most people feel very awkward and uncomfortable in front of a camera. They don't have a lot of experience with it. So yeah, I definitely give them direction, and I talk with them the entire time. So unless they're having like a really sweet private moment, and then I'll shut up. But yeah, so I encourage them to interact with each other and focus on each other, and just, you know, and I give them direction, but I don't give like very specific posing, like put your arm over here or do that type of thing. I try to keep all of that kind of stuff very natural to who the couple is.
I like that.
There's a very in-depth question here in chat that I wanted to pass on. It's from Tim, not our Tim, but another Tim. Wants to know, how much awesomeness do you deliver per wedding?
I don't know. I don't know how to quantify the awesomeness, but as much as I can pack in.
Jam-packed with awesomeness.
You unpack the awesomeness every time you go to a wedding.
I give it my best shot.
And do you have any favorite? This is from Magic Eye Studios. Do you have any favorite tools helping you organize the balance between work and family?
Oh, geez. No, if you guys could see the rest of my office in front of me instead of behind me, it would be very obvious that I don't have any tools. No, I mean, I have a separate office space in my house, and I also have a studio for meeting clients. And I try to be very cognizant about only working when my kids are not in school, because I am gone on the weekends a lot. So during the week, both my kids go to school in the mornings. Well, one of them goes 3 days a week, and the other one goes every day because he's in kindergarten. But so I just try to work and get as much done, you know, while they're at school. And honestly, the biggest thing that helps me be productive is to turn off the internet. So I am not on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Google Plus and who knows what else, because social media can be very distracting.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I think we talk about this a lot on the show is the work-life balance. And I'm sure Kathleen has struggled with this. I'm sure Tim has struggled with this. I'm sure you've struggled with it, Kat. I think as long as you got multiple things going on in your life, you know, you're a husband or a wife or a mother or a father, you work, you have all these other distractions, you never feel like you have the right balance.
No, not at all. And actually in 2012, that was a huge... I went way too far towards my photography, and it was really hard on my family. I traveled, I think, 10 times between June through August, and a handful of other times throughout the rest of the year. And it was as amazing as those opportunities were, because I got to go some really cool places, but it was really, really hard on my husband and my kids. So I'm definitely going to be being a lot more choosy about what travel I choose to accept going forward.
And that's probably the key is you never will probably achieve the right balance, At least not for very long. You just don't want to be too skewed to one side.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, my 2012 was very much the same. And without fail, every time I would go out of town for a session, someone would end up in the hospital with like their arm pulled out of the socket or an ear infection. And I'm just like, this doesn't happen when I'm home. Can you just save it up for when I get home and not do it while I'm all gone?
Yeah. It was hard. Because my husband owned his own business too, so it was hard. So I'm going to try to find some more balance for the family this year.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you feel in your photo journey that you're most proud of?
Gosh, that's a hard one. I don't really know. I'm just, every time someone hires me to shoot their wedding, it just makes me so thankful that because that's a huge amount of trust.
Yeah.
So I'm just proud of all of the weddings that I've photographed. My clients are just amazing, amazing people. And it's such a cool thing to get to be a part of making memories for their family in the future.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you strive to keep your work consistent, or do you feel like your personality is more like you're always reinventing yourself and reinventing your style?
No, I mean, I think there's always a natural evolution that's going to happen every single year of your work. But as far as within a particular wedding or within an event, I think consistency is incredibly important, because that's part of what your clients are hiring you for. It's not, being able to make 20 great photos from a wedding is, good for your blog, good for your portfolio, but it doesn't really do anything for the clients. So right. I think consistency is hugely important.
And I have your blog put up right now, because one thing we haven't talked about much with wedding photographers is doing different religions. We probably have all, when we envision a wedding, we probably envision whatever our wedding or our religion is. But you've done some different religions, and I think the one you did here in Atlanta was a different religion, right?
Yeah, it was a Hindu wedding. Yep.
And I have your webpage pulled up with some of those photos right now, where we can see some of those. Are there any different challenges, or any different, maybe not necessarily a challenge, but things that you like? Is it nice to be doing something different than a regular wedding, if there is such a thing?
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, they're all a little bit different, but yeah, I absolutely love getting the opportunity to learn some different customs and cultures, and see how, all sorts of different people choose to celebrate the wedding day. And Indian weddings in particular are just so cool, because it is so completely different from what we're used to. Mm-hmm. And there's so much opportunity to get incredible emotional shots. But, there's definitely some challenges, too, that are specific to Indian weddings. But, every wedding has challenges, and sometimes challenges lead to the best images.
And something like, we're looking right now at someone getting, maybe the bride or bridesmaid getting their feet painted. That's something that you probably need to have some experience with the what do you call it, the traditions of the religion to know to have gotten that shot.
Yeah, it definitely helps. But one thing, about Indian weddings is that because it's such a long, drawn-out event, you get to see a lot of different stuff. So you kind of start to get the feel of the flow and the emotion as you're shooting it. And the other thing is that typically they are so warm and friendly that any relative or any friend of theirs is so happy to help you that I didn't even have to ask them questions. Like, somebody would appoint themselves from each side of the family to help me and explain what was happening, not just so I would know what to shoot, but just so I would even understand the significance of what was going on. And that was really, really helpful to me, especially on the first one that I did.
How many have you done?
I've done 4.
Okay. And were you nervous with the first one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But they were just the sweetest couple ever.
And you say long. What is long?
Well, the first one I did was 41 hours of coverage over 4 days.
Oh, my gosh.
So, and the fourth day was which was the wedding day, was 21 hours of coverage. So yeah, it's long.
How did you even charge for something like that?
Well, the first one I didn't charge anywhere near enough, but it was an awesome experience, and I definitely don't regret it. But the wedding day, it's on a case by case basis because every single Indian wedding is a little bit different. So I custom quote all of those.
And if you're watching the show live, or if you're listening to this or watching it later, be sure to go out to the site and check this out. I think it's the Atlanta. You got it listed as the Atlanta wedding, at least the one I was looking at and the one I'm showing now.
Yep.
And I also love the color. They seem to be very colorful.
Very, very colorful. Yep. And they change outfits a lot throughout the day, so you get a lot of different. So usually, like on the wedding day, you'll do 2 to 3 different portrait sessions.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going 21 hours, you probably did have to change clothes.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah. I love the one that's coming up here in just a second. I don't know if you can see it. It's with the husband who's looking to our right, and the wife is behind him, with her arms around him, looking toward us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
there's a ton of good ones in there. You just got to go look at all of them.
And that kissing one, they're not even kissing, but wow.
Let me show that one a little bit better.
The almost kiss. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. There's another one. Okay, they got the bridesmaid one here that's coming up now. And you can see some of the colors there. Again, remember, what you're seeing here in live is not the true quality. You got to go to the website. But I really love the guy one, the one that's coming up next.
That's cool.
That is just so cool. The lineup of them behind him.
Yeah.
He has that look gives him a look of power. Yeah, gives a look of power. That is a fantastic image.
It's they were calling it the Flying V.
Well, we're coming up on the hour here. We've been getting a lot of the questions here in chat. So hopefully we've got most of your questions. If we didn't get your questions, be sure to state them again. And one here at the end is: did you have to do any traditional? Did you have to do any research before doing your first non-traditional wedding?
Oh, absolutely. I looked at a ton of other Indian weddings on other photographers' websites, and the couple that hired me for that, I mean, I was very upfront with them that it was my first one, and they were so helpful, and they gave me such a detailed timeline. And one of their relatives spent like an hour with me the day before the wedding explaining everything and the significance of everything and how to pronounce the stuff. So they were just really sweet, and made it such an awesome experience.
That's so cool.
Did you have an assistant during that 21-hour day?
I did, yes. I had another photographer, and I also had a third photographer come into a photo booth during the reception.
Wow. That's incredible. All right. Kathleen?
So you're photographing...
I know I interrupted you.
That's okay. So you're photographing weddings right now. I know you started with your boys. Do you still photograph families and children, or are you strictly weddings at this point?
I still do some families and children, not a ton, but some, because my wedding clients have babies, and so typically it's past wedding clients when I do family and babies and kids. I do have a couple of clients whose families I've been shooting for a while, so I still continue to shoot those. But yeah, for the most part, I do weddings.
Do you feel like your photography is attached to like a greater good? Like when you're at a wedding, like obviously you're there to give them pictures, but do you feel like there's a greater good at stake with the photographs that you're giving them?
I hope so. I hope I'm capturing the people that they love the most in as authentically as possible, so that, because when I look back at photos of my own family, the ones that are my favorites are where you can totally see the personality of the person, and you're like, yep, that's them, and that's what I want to capture in my photos. So I hope so.
I would say that you do. That's my vote.
Well, thank you.
I would say that you do for sure. Very cool. That's all I've got, Mike.
Okay, so that was great timing, Kathleen. We're right at 9:30. As we're ending, I wanted to say something about somebody out in our Facebook group. I don't know if Tim or you, Kathleen, have had a chance to be out there much lately, but Jeannie, if you go and look in a Facebook group, she has really improved. That's basically jpeg2RAW. The thing is improvement. We all, no matter if you're Kat or Kathleen quality, you're still looking to improve. I'm sure both you guys are looking to do better the next time, and you see things you want to improve. I know Tim and I probably do too, and I do. I won't speak for you, Tim.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're always looking to improve. So that's really what jpeg2RAW is about. And if you look at Jeannie's work that she just posted this past week, and then go back and do a research on what she's done in the past, it is night and day. Jeannie has posted some fabulous photos here recently. And I hope she's still listening. She's not typing out there, so I don't know if she's still listening. But either way, Jeannie, great job. Love seeing those photos.
Yeah, we like watching people's growth, and it's really cool when you can see somebody that's been here basically from the beginning of the show, and is still sticking around and seeing them grow as a photographer. It's really encouraging for all of us.
Yeah, and that's really what, the one thing we get to meet great photographers like Kat, but also seeing each other and helping each other grow. That's what the Facebook group's about. That's what the show's about. None of us, Tim, Kathleen, or I, are here to make money. Actually, it's a big money loser for me.
That's why you're the boss.
And I should, before I make comments like that, I should always check and see, is my wife listening?
Right. Don't tune in tonight, honey, because UPS is sucking it all right out.
She is not listening, so I am safe. And I know she's never going to listen after the fact.
Right.
Well, Kat, thank you for coming out. The hour goes by just so fast, and love talking to you. Love watching your images. Again, I'll put all your links in the show notes. But if you're listening to this now, even live or later, do yourself a favor and go to Kat's webpage.
Yeah, don't miss out on that. Her work is just breathtaking. You got to see it on the site.
Yeah. Now, Kat, where all can people find you? I know the webpage. I've put that up a couple times during the show, and I'll put it in the show note. But you mentioned Twitter. You're on Twitter also?
Yep, I'm at Kat Braman on Twitter, and okay. I'm basically Kat Braman everywhere. So Instagram, I'm at Kat Braman. Facebook, everything. You can always find me under Kat Braman. Okay.
So you're over on Facebook?
I am. I don't have a fan page. I just have a personal Facebook.
Well, if I'm not going to put you in a spot, you don't have to give an answer now, but I'm going to make the comment. You're welcome to join our group, jpeg2RAW, the Facebook /group/jpeg2RAW. You're welcome to join the group if you want.
I would love to. And if anyone has any other questions for me, they're welcome to ask them there, and I will do my best to answer as many of them as possible.
Awesome. That'd be awesome.
Wonderful.
And Jeannie just typed out there, so that's awesome. Glad you're still.
She said she couldn't find her movie camera.
I am glad.
Don't worry, there's plenty of podcast catches. You can get a copy.
I am glad you're still out there, Jeannie. And it looks like the site held up. It did not crash.
Awesome.
Yep. And if you're on, Kathleen, I know you're on the old site. On a new site, we have both high speed and low speed. It looks like there's a little bit of a sound issue for some people out there that they were able to figure out. And I have a hint on something I can do to help that. If it doesn't work, then I have no idea. So that held up. We also, and I believe somebody did this for the first time, I have some links over on the side where you can watch it on your Android phone. Of course, it didn't work for me. Or on your iPhone or iPad, there's links there too. And someone out in chat.
It didn't work for you on your Droid, but it did. I do have to say, it did work for someone on their iPhone. Just saying.
It did. And I can tell you that I was trying to do it while I was also trying to get things ready. So it's not a fair comparison. So someone was able to at least, I don't know if they stayed watching it the whole time that way, but they were able to watch it through the iPhone, which is something that we've not been able to do before. So hopefully we can keep that up. I have learned a lesson, several lessons. I learn lessons all the time. One lesson is don't mess with the computer too much the night before the show, because I totally screwed up.
You gotta stop that. You're scaring me with these
broadcast.
Everything just fell apart, and I don't know what to do, and it's driving me crazy. Don't do that. Not the night before.
Did you ever hear me say I don't know what to do?
No, but that's when we hear. You have to understand. We hear uh-oh, and that's what we hear.
Yeah, if you say uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Just to let you know, I showed you the cameras that we have now. So there's a few more. There's also a third computer involved. So in the broadcast, so things, and it's getting a little warm in here with all the computers running. But the other thing I learned,
and it's only January.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The other thing I learned is book all the January guests before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, forget it after that.
It has been very difficult. So actually, we're still working for the next 2 weeks. We got Michael Clark coming back at the end of the month. And then I forget the February stuff. We'll have to go back through that. But we're still working on somebody for the next 2 weeks. We'll see what comes out of that. But lesson for next year is have January booked before Thanksgiving.
Well, since we're talking New Year's resolutions, I finally came up with mine.
Awesome.
It is not to gain any more than 25 to 30 pounds before September.
Huh?
25 to 30? That's a lot.
I know you're pretty thin already and in good
really.
shape, but why would you want to gain that much weight?
Because that's typically what you gain when you're pregnant.
Is somebody pregnant? Oh, congratulations. I wasn't going to say it, but I was like, that's got to be what she's hinting.
I didn't know we were saying it this early.
I didn't either. I just decided.
Congratulations, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And congratulations to you and to
Josh.
Your husband Josh. Congratulations to both you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Kathleen, you think after 20 years of marriage I would learn, and I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think us guys are capable. So Kathleen texted me and told me that, and the first questions was, I guess I got to find another co-host. I had all these. I think I sent you 3 texts before I finally go, oh, crap. I should have said congratulations first.
Congratulations.
So, saying it tonight, Kathleen. Congratulations again. Yeah, and I'm not going to have anything else to add to that.
Good, because you probably just fumble over the words anyway.
Yeah. And, I'll say this. It's been Kathleen and I talked about how much longer you're going to be, and obviously with the pregnancy and with the delivery and then 3 small children, you can't do this forever. But right now,
That's all we have to do to get out is get pregnant?
That's it.
Yeah. Tim, I tell you what, if you get pregnant, you and I will do a whole different podcast.
If he gets pregnant, I'm not leaving.
But eventually Kathleen will have to step back a little bit and then drop off altogether. And I don't know how long before you'll be able to come back. But anytime you want to come back, and you're not leaving next week. I don't want to give that impression.
Right.
But at some point, anytime you want to come back and come on the show as a co-host or as a guest or whatever else, you're more than welcome. We've really enjoyed having you as a co-host.
Thanks.
You're going to be very difficult to replace. You've added a lot to the show.
Thanks.
And even though most of her emails back to me are just sure, she does come up with good ideas quite often, too.
Well, as long as I'm not throwing up, I'll stay here until I have this kid. That's my deal. So people out there, if I don't show up for a while, it's because my head's in the toilet, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, if that happens during the show, if you could mute and your video and your audio, because it may cause me to throw up.
I don't know. I mean, when the mouse ran across my basement floor, that really got us some good viewings.
It did.
So
It did.
maybe I should just leave the cameras rolling. Oh, jeez.
Kat doesn't know what we're talking about. She had a mouse run right behind her live on the show, and she jumped up on the desk.
Oh my God. I would have lost it.
I did. I think I hit mute and jumped up on the desk and then turned my camera off. So I'm pretty sure at some point everyone saw my feet standing up on my desk.
Yeah, it was for quite a few seconds.
It was. And then I think I texted you because we were worried because we didn't know it was a mouse.
All you saw was this death look on my face.
Yeah, you kind of looked to your right, and you had this shocked look in your face, and then you kind of jumped up. So we were worried, is Kathleen okay? So I think I texted you, and then you texted me back, I'm not going to be back tonight.
She was doing that from across the street.
Yeah, well, what happened? And it took a while before you finally told me there's a rat. I think you said rat at the time.
It was that big.
That sounds like a rat.
Yeah, they caught it. We killed it, so I saw it dead too.
Yeah.
Shook my finger at it. You scared
My
me.
finger at it.
Well, if you haven't guessed, we're kind of in the post-show section of the show now.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, again, Kat, thank you for coming out. It's been a real pleasure looking at your images and talking with you. And we're happy to have you on.
Thanks.
And our first guest of 2013.
Thanks for coming, Kat. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you guys.
We loved it. You'll have to come back at some point, too. We like to keep up with all of our guests and make you come on multiple times.
I would love to.
Good.
And if you didn't get to ask your questions to Kat, and you're a member of a Facebook group, she's going to eventually join there, and she'll be happy to answer your questions there. And if you're not a member of a Facebook group, then think about joining. There's a lot of talented people out there, and just like Jeannie, and I'm picking Jeannie, but there's a lot of great photographers we have in a group, some really good ones. But it's really nice to see somebody make that big of an improvement. Out there too. So we'll be back next week with some show. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll be back next week. And that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for coming.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.